Fourth Doctor and Romana II receive a distress signal and arrive on Chloris. It is a lush and verdant world with only small quantities of metals, all of which are controlled by its ruler, Lady Adrastra. Adrastra keeps order with the aid of her huntsmen and his wolf weeds, mobile balls of vegetation. A band of thieves, led by Thorfinn, organize raids on her palace to steal whatever metal they can. But in the mines of Chloris is something huge, a creature thrown into the pit to be forgotten. And the doctor is about to join him. Welcome, friends and companions! It's time for a live stream. Yes, yes, yes! Ha ha ha! Sci-Fi and fantasy fans and all sort of fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who, my most beloved sci-fi series. I watch this till eternity. And also one of my biggest desires is to make friends on this channel. Biggest goals is to make friends on this channel and to talk about the things we are interested in. So if you wants to join me in a live stream, that's also one of the things about the random entertainment channel is that random because we have no guests or different guests. It depends what you join me in the live stream or panel. If you want to join me in live stream, feel free to contact me via, you can put a comment on one of the YouTube videos or you send me a message via Discord server that is random entertainment channel, tag Doctor Who on Discord if I'm very quick because I bump the server regularly. So, so feel free to join me and to talk about things most of the time is Doctor Who. Also, it's also possible to invite me for your channel for a live stream panel because I will also want to contribute to your channel. I want to talk also talk about things we're interested in or like, and yeah, especially things like Doctor Who. Yeah, of course, of course, of course. Um, yeah, so it's one of the goals of this channel to network and to make friends and to and really enjoy the entertainment and really enjoy the things. Um, so random because we'll discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies, series, books, and music. So it's a big universe. Random. Also, we will broadcast on fixed time, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. And the reason behind I do live streams on many different times is I want to meet as much people as possible. And I want to serve much people in different time zones as possible. Because, yeah, we live in a world with different time zones. So that's the reason I also broadcast on many different times. So, yeah. Okay. That was the introduction for it. So cheers, mate. Have lots of fun. This is your host, Enigmatic Joker, and today we do a fourth Doctor story, Creature from the Pit. So we do first some general info about this story. Okay. So the Creature from the Pit was the third serial in season 17 of Doctor Who. This was the last story directed by Christopher Barry, who had first worked on the show since 1963. Yes, since the beginning. And it was the first story produced, though not the first broadcast, to feature Lalla Ward as the Doctor's companion. Actually, Time Lady. This story was one of the season's downsized stories. This meant that the Doctor would be working on a smaller scale rather than saving the universe as he had been throughout the past season. The serial made use of complicated model work to achieve the space scenes. Original scene had to be filmed again. The Erato prop was also a major problem. A puppet version was unavailable for rehearsals and there wasn't time for a redesign. So, that's some general info, some background info. This story is 4 episodes. and 25 minutes each. So we will dive down to in the plot and we do part for part. Are you ready? Spoiler alert. So you can choose for yourself to listen further. Part 1. An MK3 emergency transceiver on the TARDIS identifies a distress signal and brings the craft to the lush jungle world of Claris, where metal in all forms is a rare and prized commodity. The Doctor, Romana, and K9, yes, K9, venture out to discover the remains of an enormous egg in the jungle. The Doctor is immediately beset by wolf weeds, under control of the huntsman, who then releases the Doctor and orders his death. Karila countermands him and has the Doctor and Romana taken prisoner instead. As they travel through the jungle, bandits attack them and Romana is taken prisoner by them. The Doctor is taken to the palace of the Lady Adrasta, who rules the planet by controlling all the metal. He examines the throne room and takes particular interest in a plate upon the wall. Elsewhere, Romana uses a dog whistle to summon K9. With his help, she escapes the bandits. Andrasta takes the Doctor to a pit to witness the execution of an engineer called Doran, who failed to make some of the observations the Doctor made about the egg. He is thrown to a creature that lives within the vast caverns below. Romana arrives and tries to help the Doctor escape as K9 attacks the guards. However, the Volvids quickly surround and disable K9. The Doctor then jumps into the pit. Ooh, end of part 1. Part 2. Romana notices that the Doctor is still alive, clinging to the side of the pit. He signals to keep silent as to his survival. Adrasta decides that Romana may be of use, as will the metal K9. Doctor loses his grip and falls into the pit. Meanwhile, Lady Adrasta tries to get information out of Romana as the guards slowly hammer away at K9. Eventually, Romana tells her that only K9 has the answers to what Adrasta is looking for. In the woods, the bandits decide to attack the palace, believing that the guards will be searching for them. Within the pit, the Doctor finds the corpses of Doran and one of Adrasta's men who fell into the pit after being stunned by K9 and then encounters Organon, an astrologer thrown down there by Adrasta. The creature attacks, but they manage to escape from its tentacle and then burn it to deter it from attacking again. They then begin exploring the caverns. K9 tells Adrasta about the TARDIS, realizing that, with such a machine, she no longer needs the creature. She decides that K9 will kill it for her. They venture through a passage and into the caverns of the pit. The Doctor, Organon, and a number of the Adrasta's guards come across the creature. The guards attack it, to no effect, and the creature squashes the Doctor. End of part 2. Part 3. The guards and Organon retreat and the creature forms a barrier to prevent their return. Within the cavern, the Doctor awakes, seemingly unharmed. Outside the palace, the bandits make their attack and quickly gain access to the throne room. In the pit, Adrasta decides that K9 will destroy the barrier. The Doctor tries to befriend the creature, but it has no way to communicate with him. The creature draws a picture of the plate that the Doctor noticed in Adrasta's throne room. At that point, the bandits are stealing the plate. They are interrupted by the guards and retreat into the cavern. The plate activates and Torvin and Edu fall under its hypnotic effect. K9 is unable to break down the barrier as it gets stronger with each blow. On the other side, the doctor bursts through. Adrasta questions how the doctor did this, and he replies that he asked very nicely. Adrasta admits she knows more about the creature than she was previously led on. It is a Titonian. The doctor uses a mirror to reflect K9's attacks, killing Adrasta's guards and scaring off Karela. The doctor holds Adrasta despite her pleas. She orders Romana to have K9 kill the creature. The hypnotized Torvin and Edu approach, still carrying the plate, which they place on the creature. End of part 3. Part 4. With the plate, the creature is able to speak through the person touching it. The doctor uses the plate and discovers that the creature's name is Erato and is a Titonian ambassador to Chloris. It came 15 years earlier to negotiate a treaty exchanging metal for chlorophyll. Its craft was the fast egg in the jungle. However, Adrasta, knowing her power depended on control of the planet's metal supply, imprisoned Erato. Knowing the truth, Adrasta's people turn on her, and Erato takes his revenge by crushing Adrasta to death. In the woods, Karela meets the bandits and kills Torvin. She tries to convince the others to join her in taking the metal. The doctor arrives and has K9 destroy the metal the bandits stole. With nothing to lose, the bandits and Karela give up. The doctor has rescued the Titonian just in time. Titanus has declared war on Chloris over the missing ambassador and has dispatched a neutron star to collide with Chloris star and destroy the system. It will collide within the next 24 hours. Working desperately, the doctor uses the TARDIS to destabilize the star, while Areta weaves an aluminium shell around it. The danger is neutralized. The doctor's last act on Chloris is to push Organon, now one of the facto rulers, toward a mutually beneficial trade agreement with Arato and the Titonians. And that, my friends, is the story The Creature from the Pit. I'll name some cast members. Doctor Who is played by Tom Baker. Romana is played by Lala Ward. The voice of K9 is voiced by David Brearley. Adrasta is played by Mira Francis. Organon is played by Geoffrey Bildon. Karela is played by Eileen Way. Huntsman is played by David Telfer. Toland is played by Morris Barry. Torvin is played by John Bryans. Edu is played by Edward Kelsey. Anu is played by Tim Munro. The guard is played by Philip Denver. Doran is played by Terry Walsh. Oh, you all know him. Guard Master Tommy Wright. And the guard is played by Dave Redgrave. So there are some cast members. Some world building. The doctor jokingly claims that Time Lords have 90 lives and that he has used 130 of his. And when asked which astrological sign he was born under, Doctor answers literally crossed computers, which was the signature used by the maternity service on Gallifrey. Some world building in culture. The Doctor and K9 are reading Peter Rabbit, and Romana has read a few of the series herself. The Doctor claims a ball of string Romana finds in the TARDIS helped Theseus and Ariadne out of the Minotaur's maze. And the third thing is that the thieves operate as a democracy. Some world building with species. Arato is an ambassador from the planet Titanus, a world which world rich in metal, but rapidly depleting its vegetation. Titonians consume chlorophyll and mineral salts, and Titonians can only communicate via a pentagonal device, which allows them to utilize another being's larynx. and Titonians live for 40,000 years. Some world building with a spacecraft. Errata traveled to Chloris in a spaceship that was an egg woven from living metal. And Errata's spaceship is powered by photon drive. Some world building in the TARDIS has a tractor beam. And the second thing is that MK3 emergency transceiver can be plugged into the TARDIS console. Some world building in weapons. A neutron star is propelled towards Chloris by the Titonians after the treatment of their ambassador. And the last world building in influences is that Torvin was inspired by Fagin from Oliver Twist. Some story notes. Um, this was the first story for season 17 to be produced, though it was the third to be broadcast. This makes it the first story produced with Lala Ward as Romana II, replacing Mary Tam, and with David Brearley providing the voice for K9, replacing John Leeson. Um, in David Fisher's original script, Lady Adrasta was Queen Adrasta, whose name meant to the stars in Latin. This was changed by Douglas Adams. Christopher Barry is said to have had differences of opinion with both Tom Baker and Lala Ward regarding their characters and dialogue during filming of his story. This plus frequent technical problems led to his departure from directing on Doctor Who. Lala Ward was unhappy with his story. It was the first one she filmed and she was still working out how to play Romana. The fact that the script was written for Mary Tim's version didn't help. She even wears a white dress like hers. She loaded both her costume and her hair. Um, a clip of this story was used in documentary Sint Britannia, first broadcast on BBC 4 on Friday, the 16th October of 2009. The clip seems to be from part 2 or 3. A working title for the story was The Creature in the Pit. But it was named after the creature from the pit. Another thing is that Christopher Barry described the shoot as the nadir of his career. Another thing that David Fisher's original outline was concerned with Adrasta's attempts to claim the TARDIS for herself. K9 eventually takes Adrasta away in the TARDIS, returning her code and defeated at the story's conclusion. Upon initially being thrown into the pit, Doc is attacked by Helen, a former member of the Adrasta's team of engineers. In the final episode, the battle fleet from Titonus, later spelled Titonus, arrives, threatening to destroy Gloris with a photon missile. Erato and the Doctor travel into space in Erato's ship, and the Titonian weaves a spacesuit for the Doctor, enabling him to reach the missile and disarm it. That was an original outline about Adrasta's attempts to claim the TARDIS for herself. Another thing is that although the Doctor's solution to the problem of the neutron star weaving a shell of aluminum around it has been criticized as silly, it was in fact proposed to David Fisher by members of the Institute of Astronomy, Cambridge. Christopher Barry and visual effects designer Matt Irvine were called on the carpet by the BBC management for the appearance of the creature Arato. The phallic appearance of the proboscis is in the first episode resulted in uncontrolled laughter in the studio. It prompted an overnight sage to add a pair of pincers to the creature. Yeah, whatever. Another thing is that this was Terry Wall's final appearance in the series, having appeared in various roles since 1966, as well as acting a fight arranger and the stunt double for both John Pertwee and Tom Baker. Yes, Terry Walls, very important figure in the Classic series. Great applause for him. Yeah, Terry Walls appeared in many episodes. Graham Williams ordered a model shot of the TARDIS to be reshot because the wires were visible. Another thing is that Roberto proved to be a logistical nightmare. Christopher Barry claimed it was impossible to realize while blamed special effects initially. In hindsight, he realized that the producer and the writer were to blame. Um, Another thing is that Graham Williams called Erato a giant syphilitic phallus, and the whole crew burst into laughter upon seeing it, prompting Williams to reprimand them. Geoffrey Belden claimed that there is an outtake of him going, quote, "Oh my, that's a big one," end quote. Arms were added to distract from its phallic appearance. Yeah, okay. Another thing is that Sian Phillips was offered the role of Lady Adrasta. Another thing is that many of the names chosen for the storyline were derived from Greek mythology. Lady Adrasta was inspired by the legend of Andromeda, whose homeland was plagued by a gargantuan sea monster. Errata was named after a member of a group of goddesses called the Muses. This choice was intentionally ironic. The mythological Errata was the muse of erotic poetry, and her name meant lovely. The creature's homeworld of Titanus was originally spelled Titonus, from a prince of Troy who was granted immortality but without the benefit of eternal youth. Chloris, meanwhile, was a minor flower goddess, cognate with the Roman deity Flora, and was etymologically linked to the word chlorophyll, uh, the green pigment found in most vegetation. Douglas Adams suggests that the scarcity of metal on Chloris would have been driven some former miners to banditry. Fisher initially feared that this element would become too silly, but he soon began to emulate Adams' comedic style. Ironically, Adams wound up having it to rein in the jokiness of Fisher's scripts. Nonetheless, they were criticized by BBC head of serials Graham MacDonald, who, in recent years, heroically argued against overt humor in the show. There are things that Mark Irvine suggests realizing Orato using a combination of puppets and model sets. However, Christopher Barry did not feel this was not the right approach. Work on the prop took too long that it wasn't available for rehearsals, so Barry proposed resurrecting the original idea. However, he was now told that if insufficient time remained to accomplish this. Barry then argued that Erato should be completely reimagined, but Graham Williams rejected such a significant change at so late a date. Another thing, Morris Barry was a distant relative of Christopher Barry. Another thing, filming at BBC Television Centre was delayed by a day due to union activity over an accusation of wrongful dismissal. Then another thing is that Christopher Barry found that Tom Baker had become a much more dominating presence since they'd last collaborated on the brain of Morbius. As a result, Douglas Adams was a moderating presence. And the last thing is that focus of the TARDIS has to be remounted at considerable expense, but it was discovered that the strings were visible. So, as you can see, there are many things were happening during the production of this story. Yeah, so that's the reason I took nevertheless more time, more time to story notes because there was so much happening during this production of the story. I thought it was a good thing to do this now for this story to take these notes. So let's think in continuity. Two things. A number of the Doctor's old costumes appear on the TARDIS headstand. His coats from the Seeds of Doom and the talents of Wang Chang are two of these. And the second one is that part of the machine the Doctor and Romana used to enter hyperspace is in the box Romana brings into the console room. I see that in the Stones of Blood. And that, my friends and companions, is all I have to say about this story. Yeah, I'll do some commercial and then yeah. So Sci-Fi Fantasy fans and all sort of fans meet on this channel for fun chats about love, books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. Random because we discuss everything involves entertainment, including movies and series, books and music. Random because we're broadcast non-fixed times, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. And if you want to join me in a live stream panel, feel free to contact me via Discord or on the Discord server Random Entertainment channel, or you can put a comment on one of the videos. You feel free to contact me, and you can that we can talk in this live stream. Of course, you can always join the chat. And feel free also to invite me for your channel. I will also contribute to your channel. So, yeah, you can ask me for that. I'm available for that. So the Discord server is called the Random Entertainment Channel, Tech Doctor Who. And you find me very quick on Discord because I bump the server regularly. So cheers, mate, and have lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to meet you next time. See ya. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Bye bye.